chosen one. The clock of heaven is moving toward a moment that will not wait for the unready. August 12, 2025 is not just another sunrise. It is an appointment written into the scrolls of eternity, a day when the veil will thin and the winds of destiny will shift. The earth will tremble in ways the natural eye cannot see, but the Spirit will know a shaking that tests the foundations of every heart. On that day, heaven's pen will write a line, and every soul will stand on one side of it or the other. It will be the dividing of the false from the faithful, the called from the complacent. You have been summoned not by man, but by the voice that spoke light into the darkness. This is your hour to prepare to strip off the weight of compromise, to sharpen your spirit like a blade, and to anchor yourself in the one who cannot be moved. August 12 will not change because of you. But you can be changed before it arrives. The trumpet is not far, and only those awake will hear it. The appointed time, August 12, 2025, there are moments in history that are written before history begins. Moments that are not born of men's plans or earthly calendars, but of the eternal design of the Almighty. They are appointed times. They do not wait for kings or nations. They are not moved by opinion or circumstance. They are fixed in the council of heaven. August 12, 2025 is such a moment. It is not the product of chance or coincidence. It is a day marked in the scrolls of time when cycles will converge and hidden purposes will be unveiled. To the world, it may appear ordinary. The sun will rise, people will go to their work, the marketplaces will open. But in the realm that is greater than sight, the clock of heaven will strike a note that has been sounding since the beginning, and those who have ears to hear will know the time has come. The appointed time is the hinge upon which destinies turn. Throughout the ages, God has set days that shift the course of nations. On one day, a sea parted and a nation walked to freedom. On another, fire fell from heaven in the sight of the people. On yet another, a tombstone was rolled away and death itself was shattered. These days are not random, they are precise. They arrive exactly when heaven has decreed they must. And so, August 12, 2025 is not coming early, nor will it come late. It will arrive at the second ordained by the one who governs the heavens and the earth. But why does the appointed time matter for the chosen? Because such days are not only about the movements of nations, but about the calling of individuals. The Eternal does not set such moments for the sake of spectacle, but for the transformation of lives and the advancement of his purposes. When the appointed time comes, the question is not whether it will happen, it will. The question is whether you will be aligned with it or miss it entirely. Many stood in the crowds when the ark door was shut, but only Noah and his family were inside. Many heard the teachings of the prophets, but only a remnant prepared their hearts. The appointed time separates those who discern from those who dismiss. Preparation for an appointed time is not casual. It is not something to be done when convenient. It demands vigilance, sacrifice, and a readiness to walk a path that others may not understand. The appointed time is like the moment when a bridegroom arrives at midnight. Those who are awake with oil in their lamps will enter in. Those who are asleep will find the door shut. The oil is your faith, your obedience, your intimacy with the one who calls you. Without it, you will have nothing to burn when the darkness deepens. August 12, 2025 will be a crossroads. For some, it will be a release into a higher purpose, a door opening into a season of acceleration. For others, it will be the exposure of hidden cracks, the shaking of false foundations. This is why the appointed time must be understood. It is not only a blessing, it is a dividing. It reveals who has built their house on rock and who has built on sand. In that moment, it will be too late to lay a new foundation. What is built will either stand or fall. The chosen are not given this revelation to boast, but to act. To be warned is to be entrusted. If you are hearing this now, it is because heaven has allowed you to know what many will only see too late. You are not hearing this for entertainment. You are hearing it because the days are urgent. Every delay, every compromise, every distraction is a thief sent to rob you of your readiness. But the appointed time is drawing near, and the thief will have no place among the prepared. You must also understand that the appointed time is not a human stage where you perform for the applause of others. It is an altar before the throne of the Almighty. On that altar, your offering is not words, but your life surrendered, purified, and wholly His. The preparation is not about learning new techniques or storing up earthly resources. It is about yielding to the refining fire. The gold is only proven when it has passed through the flames, and the appointed time is the day when the gold and the dross will be made known. Throughout Scripture, we see the pattern God warns before He acts. He gives a season of mercy before a day of reckoning. The warning is not a scare, it is a gift. It is His mercy giving you space to align, to repent, to return. If He is speaking to you about August 12, it is because He is calling you to stand ready when others are caught unaware. You may feel the weight of this call. That is because the weight is real. It is not a burden to crush you, but to anchor you when the winds come. The appointed time also carries with it the convergence of cycles. In the heavenly order, there are seasons of sowing, seasons of reaping, seasons of pruning, and seasons of breakthrough. On August 12, 2025, certain cycles in your life will close and others will begin. Old assignments may be lifted from your shoulders and new mantles placed upon you. For some, hidden prayers will be answered. For others, the delays will break. For still others, what they refuse to release will be taken from their hands. This is not cruelty. It is the justice of heaven aligning all things to His will. This is why you must see August 12 not as an event to watch from afar, but as a threshold you are being called to cross. Thresholds require movement. You cannot stand in the old place and claim the new. The chosen must be willing to let go of the familiar, to step into the unknown, trusting that the one who appointed the time has also appointed the path. If you are to be ready for the appointed time, you must live now as though it were already here. Pray as though the heavens are about to open. Worship as though the King is already before you. Walk in obedience as though the trumpet has already sounded. In doing so, you will not be shaken when the day comes, for you will already be standing on the unshakable. And know this, the appointed time is not the end, it is the beginning. It is the unlocking of a new chapter in the divine narrative of your life. The battles may intensify, the opposition may rise, but so will the grace, the authority, and the anointing upon the chosen. August 12, 2025 is the trumpet call to awaken, to strengthen what remains, and to step forward into the destiny for which you were born. The days will pass quickly now. Each sunrise brings the appointed time closer. Do not waste them, redeem them. Stand watch on the walls of your life, guard the gates of your heart, and prepare as though your King were arriving at dawn. For in truth He is, the shaking and the separation. August 12, 2025, before a mountain is revealed, the clouds around it must be moved. Before pure gold is formed, the fire must burn away the dross. And before the chosen can rise into their appointed place, there must come a shaking. This is not the shaking of earthquakes or storms in the natural, though such things may also come, but a shaking that begins in the unseen realm and manifests in the lives of all who walk the earth. It is the shaking of everything that is not rooted in truth, the trembling of every false foundation, the exposure of what has been built on sand. August 12, 2025 is marked in the council of heaven as a day of separation. A line will be drawn, and though men may not see it with their eyes, the heavens will see it clearly. The shaking will serve a purpose, to make visible what has been hidden, to reveal the difference between the authentic and the counterfeit, between the faithful and the false. Those who have clothed themselves in appearances will be stripped to their core, and what is found there will determine their standing in the days ahead. Shaking is never comfortable. It moves what you thought was secure. It unsettles the ground beneath your feet. It removes the illusions of stability you have clung to. But shaking is not sent to destroy the righteous. It is sent to protect them. It is the mercy of God that shakes you now, so you will not be shattered later. The shaking forces you to anchor your life in that which cannot be moved, His truth, His word, His presence. Look back at the patterns of history. In the days of Gideon, there was a shaking, a reduction from thousands to 300, so that the victory could not be attributed to human strength. In the days of Moses, there was a shaking when the sea parted. Those who belonged to God crossed through, and those who opposed him were swept away. In the days of the early church, there was a shaking in Jerusalem that scattered believers across the nations, carrying the gospel to places it would not have reached otherwise. The shaking is not the end. It is the threshold to a greater glory. But with the shaking comes the separation. Wheat and tares grow together in the same field, but not forever. The harvest requires a dividing not out of cruelty, but out of necessity. The wheat must be gathered into the barn. The tares must be removed before they choke the harvest. In the same way, August 12, 2025 will be a moment of divine sorting. The separation will not be decided by titles, positions, or appearances, but by the posture of the heart. Do not be surprised if the separation affects relationships, circles, or alliances you thought would last forever. When God begins to divide light from darkness, the process is not always quiet. Friends may become distant, voices you trusted may reveal their true tone, and doors you leaned on may suddenly close. This is not the enemy stealing from you, it is the Lord protecting you. Some alliances are weights you cannot carry into the next season. Some voices are not meant to speak into your destiny. The separation is the pruning that makes room for fruitfulness. The shaking will also come within. It will not only expose what is false in others, but what is false in you. The idols you have kept hidden, the compromises you have justified, the wounds you have refused to surrender, these will be brought to the surface. This is not to shame you, but to free you. What is exposed can be healed. What remains hidden cannot. If you yield to the shaking, it will cleanse you, refine you, and make you a vessel worthy for the greater work ahead. This is why you cannot fear the shaking. Fear causes you to cling to what God is trying to remove. It tempts you to run back to the old when the new is just ahead. But the chosen must be willing to stand in the trembling without running, to trust the one who holds the earth in his hands. The shaking is not random, it is strategic. It is not sent to destroy you, it is sent to prepare you. In the natural world, shaking separates what is pure from what is impure. Miners shake pans of earth to find gold. Farmers shake trees to gather fruit. The shaking is not an act of violence against the tree or the earth. It is the method by which treasure is revealed. In the same way, August 12 will shake your life not to break you, but to reveal the gold within you, the faith that endures, the love that remains, the obedience that does not bend. But here is the truth. When the shaking comes, those who have built their identity on anything other than Him will not stand. If your foundation is your wealth, your influence, your reputation, or the approval of men, you will find the ground beneath you crumbling. But if your life is built on the unshakable rock, the storms will rage, the winds will howl, yet you will not be moved. This is why preparation is not about stockpiling things, but about anchoring yourself in Him. The separation will also be a calling forth of the remnant. Many are called, but few are willing to walk the narrow road. The shaking will cause the casual to step back, but it will cause the committed to step forward. The remnant is not the largest group, it is the purest. It is made up of those who will obey no matter the cost, who will remain faithful when the crowd disperses, who will choose truth even when it isolates them. On August 12, the remnant will be marked not by outward signs, but by the seal of heaven upon their hearts. Understand this: the shaking and separation are acts of both judgment and mercy. Judgment for the systems of deception that have stood for too long. Mercy for the chosen who must be made ready. Judgment to bring down the altars of idols. Mercy to prepare the altar of your heart for his fire. Judgment to expose the wolves, mercy to protect the sheep. So how do you prepare? You do not brace yourself with fear. You anchor yourself with truth. You do not cling to what God is shaking. You release it willingly. You examine your life in the light of his word and allow him to remove what does not belong. You guard your heart against bitterness when the separation touches those you love, trusting that he sees the full picture when you do not. The shaking will come whether you are ready or not. But for the one who is surrendered, the shaking will not be a storm to endure, it will be the wind that lifts you higher. The separation will not be a loss to grieve, it will be the doorway into your true assignment. On August 12, 2025, the earth may see confusion, but the chosen will see clarity. And when the dust settles, those who have stood will shine like gold in the hands of the refiner. The final preparation, August 12, 2025, no warrior steps onto the battlefield without first sharpening his sword. No runner steps into the race without training his body to endure, and no vessel is poured out unless it has first been cleansed. The appointed time is coming, and with it, the shaking and the separation, but before that day arrives, there must be the final preparation. This is not a preparation of convenience, but of urgency. It is the last stretch before the trumpet sounds, the final moments before the curtain rises on what heaven has decreed. Preparation is not a suggestion, it is a command for the chosen. When the moment comes, you will not have time to gather oil for your lamp, to forge your weapon, or to strengthen your walls. The window for readiness will have closed. August 12, 2025 is not the time to start getting ready, it is the time to already be ready. If the Spirit is pressing you to prepare now, it is because he sees what is ahead and knows that delay will cost more than you can afford. The final preparation begins with the heart. The state of your heart determines the strength of your stand. A heart cluttered with compromise will not endure the weight of the shaking. A heart divided between God and the world will collapse under pressure. This is the hour to cleanse the temple of your soul, to cast out every idol that has stolen your devotion, and to fill every empty place with the presence of the Almighty. The preparation is not about adding more to your life, it is about removing what does not belong, so that what is eternal can remain. Your mind must also be prepared. In the days ahead, deception will not always look like evil. It will often look like good. The enemy is a master of camouflage, presenting lies in the language of truth. The final preparation requires you to anchor your mind in the unchanging word, so that when the winds of confusion blow, you will recognize the counterfeit by the clarity of the real. You must train your thoughts to dwell on what is pure, noble, and true, for what fills your mind will direct your steps. The preparation extends to your spirit. A soldier who has not trained under pressure will break when the battle is real. In the same way, your spirit must be exercised in prayer, strengthened in fasting, and sharpened in worship. These disciplines are not religious obligations, they are your lifeline. They tune your ear to heaven's voice so that, in the noise of the coming days, you will know the difference between the shepherd's call and the voice of the stranger. But understand this, the final preparation is not only about defense, it is also about readiness to advance. The chosen are not called to survive, they are called to overcome. You are being prepared not only to withstand the shaking, but to step forward when others fall back. This means being ready to speak when the Spirit says speak, to move when he says move, and to stand when all others bow. The preparation is about obedience without hesitation. In this hour, distractions are your greatest enemy. The adversary knows he cannot stop the plans of God, so he seeks to delay them by pulling your focus to lesser things. He will use entertainment, endless busyness, meaningless arguments, and unresolved offenses to drain your strength. The final preparation requires ruthless focus. Every moment wasted is a moment you cannot get back. Heaven is calling you to redeem the time, for the days are short and the hour is late. There is also a preparation in relationships. Some connections are divine assignments, others are weights. Some voices speak life into your destiny, others sow doubt into your spirit. As the day draws near, you must discern which is which. The final preparation may require you to distance yourself from those who refuse to walk in alignment with truth. This is not arrogance, it is obedience. You cannot afford to carry into the next season those who are determined to remain in the last one. Your preparation must also touch your assignments. Every task heaven has placed in your hands must be brought to completion. This is not the time to bury your talents in the ground or to hide your gifts under fear. What God has given you to steward, you must multiply. The enemy's strategy is to convince you that you have more time than you do, so that your calling remains dormant. But the final preparation means awakening every gift, sharpening every skill, and putting your hand to the plow without looking back. And yes, the final preparation includes endurance. The path ahead will not be without resistance. There will be moments of fatigue, seasons of loneliness, and tests that will push you to your limits. But endurance is not built in comfort. It is forged in trial. Every challenge you face now is part of your training for the greater battle ahead. Do not despise the difficulty. It is making you unshakable. Consider the pattern of Scripture. Noah's preparation was not the day the rain began. It was the years of building the ark when the skies were clear. David's preparation was not when he faced Goliath. It was in the fields when no one was watching, killing the lion and the bear. Esther's preparation was not the day she entered the king's court. It was the months of refining before she ever stepped into the throne room. Likewise, your final preparation is happening now before August 12 arrives, so that when the moment comes, you are not found wanting. The danger is to think preparation is optional. Many will hear the warning and nod in agreement, but will continue living as though the day is far away. They will believe they can prepare at the last minute, but the last minute will arrive without warning. The wise do not wait for the storm to start before building the shelter. They build while the skies are still calm. This is your calm before the shaking. Use it well. The final preparation is a call to consecration. To consecrate is to set apart, to remove yourself from the common, so that you can be used for the sacred. You cannot live like everyone else and expect to be ready for what no one else is ready for. The chosen must walk differently, think differently, and live differently. Your preparation is not to impress men. It is to please the one whose eyes search the earth for those whose hearts are fully his. As August 12 approaches, remember this. Preparation is not just about the day, it is about the destiny that follows. The day will come and go, but what is set in motion will shape the seasons ahead. If you are ready, the appointed time will be your launching point. If you are not, it will be the moment you realize the cost of delay. So sharpen your sword, fill your lamp with oil, strengthen your walls. Close every door the enemy could enter. Anchor your heart in truth, your mind in the word, and your spirit in his presence. For the trumpet will sound, the line will be drawn, and the chosen will be called forward. And when that moment comes, there will be no more time to prepare, only to step into what you have been prepared for. The door of consequence, August 12, 2025. Every season has a threshold. Every threshold has a door. And every door leads to a new reality. On August 12, 2025, a door will stand open, but not for long. It will be the door of consequence. It will not open because of human will, nor will it remain open for negotiation. It will open because heaven has decreed it, and it will close when heaven says the moment is complete. What happens between its opening and closing will mark lives, families, cities, and even nations. The door of consequence is different from the door of opportunity. An opportunity is something you can choose to step into or ignore without immediate loss. But the door of consequence demands a decision, and that decision carries weight that will echo into the future. You will either step into blessing or into judgment, into elevation or into decline. There is no neutral ground. The way you are positioned when the door opens will determine which side of it you stand on when it shuts. Throughout the history of God's dealings with man, there have been such doors. When the flood came, the ark's door was shut by the hand of God himself. Those inside stepped into a new covenant and a preserved future. Those outside stepped into judgment. When Israel stood at the Red Sea, the waters formed a doorway of deliverance for God's people, but a trap of destruction for Pharaoh's army. In the days of the Passover, the blood on the doorposts was the deciding factor, a threshold that determined life or death in a single night. This is the nature of the door of consequence. It does not open for the casual, and it does not wait for the unprepared. August 12 will not be the time to start deciding where you stand. It will be the day when your stance is revealed. Many will try to cross in that moment, but the preparation must be complete before the door opens. For when it shuts, no one will force it open again. The door will not only separate individuals, it will also separate seasons. For some, stepping through it will mean leaving behind years of delay, oppression, or spiritual stagnation. They will walk into a season of acceleration, divine alignment, and fresh anointing. But for others, the same door will close them into a season of discipline, correction, or loss because they resisted the refining that was offered in mercy. Both will face consequences, but of very different kinds. Do not misunderstand. The door of consequence is not the wrath of God unleashed at random. It is the justice of God applied with precision. It is the moment when the seeds you have sown in faithfulness or in neglect come to their harvest. The farmer who sowed diligently will rejoice. The one who ignored the planting season will find no crop to gather. This is why the days before August 12 are so vital. Every choice now is a seed, and the door will reveal its fruit. For the chosen, this door is not to be feared but to be honored. Fear makes you freeze, honor makes you prepare. Honor recognizes the holiness of the moment, the weight of the threshold, the sacredness of what is about to unfold. When you honor the door of consequence, you approach it with clean hands and a pure heart, not with presumption. You understand that your preparation is not a guarantee of comfort, but of alignment, that whatever waits on the other side will be the will of the one you serve. This door will also expose motives. Many walk with God for what they can gain in the present, but the door will reveal who walks with him for who he is. When blessings are delayed or comfort is shaken, those who came for provision alone will turn back. But those who came for his presence will pass through, regardless of cost. The door will not be deceived by outward appearances. It responds only to truth. In the days leading to this threshold, the enemy will seek to distract you. He will present counterfeit doors, easy paths that promise quick results, relationships that seem right but lead to compromise, shortcuts that bypass obedience. These are not doors to life, but gates to entrapment. They will look appealing now, but they will lock shut when the true door opens, leaving those who chose them stranded outside the place of promise. This is why discernment is critical in this hour. You must know the difference between a door God opens and a door the enemy decorates. Crossing the door of consequence will also require release. You cannot carry the baggage of bitterness, unforgiveness, or rebellion into the new season. The door is narrow, and it will strip away what does not belong. For some, this means releasing offenses you've carried for years. For others, it means letting go of dreams you built without God's leading. For still others, it will mean laying down the safety of the familiar to step into the risk of obedience. The door will not widen to accommodate your comfort. You must yield to its shaping. Consider this: in the parable of the 10 virgins, all were waiting for the bridegroom, but only 5 were ready when the call came. The door was opened, and those prepared entered in. But when the unprepared arrived, the door was shut, and no pleading could reverse it. That is the sobering reality of August 12. Not all who expect to enter will enter. The readiness you build now will determine your ability to cross then. The chosen must also see the other side of the door as a place of responsibility, not just reward. Passing through does not mean the battle's end. It means you are entrusted with a higher level of authority and accountability. New territory demands new stewardship. The door of consequence will not hand you a crown for display, but a mantle for labor. To walk through it is to accept the weight of what comes after. For those who resist the preparation, the consequences will be just as real, though different in nature. It may mean a delay in destiny, the loss of certain assignments, or the removal of influence. These are not punishments without purpose. They are the corrective measures of a God who still desires your restoration. But they will come with the pain of missed timing, and the road back will not be as short as the road forward could have been. This is why urgency must be your companion now. You cannot treat the coming day as a distant possibility. Every sunrise brings the threshold closer. Every moment wasted narrows the window. The door will open, ready or not. The question is whether you will be standing in alignment when it does. When August 12 arrives, the world may continue as if nothing significant has happened. The markets will open, people will go to work, conversations will be casual. But in the unseen realm, destinies will be sealed, assignments will be activated, and some chapters will be closed forever. The door of consequence will have done its work. So examine your heart now. Ask yourself, if the door opened today, would I be ready to step through? Would I be free of what cannot enter? Would I recognize it when I saw it? If the answer is no, let this be the moment you turn fully toward preparation, for the one who holds the key is already moving toward the lock, and when he turns it, the sound will echo through eternity. The door is coming, the threshold is near, the consequence will be real, and when you step through, whether into blessing or into discipline, you will know that the moment was holy, that it was appointed, and that it was the exact turning point heaven intended. The rise of the remnant. There is always a moment in history when the multitudes fade into the background and the stage is left for the few. The crowd may carry the noise, but the remnant carries the fire. August 12, 2025 will not be a celebration for the masses, but a coronation for the chosen few who refused to bow to the idols of the age. For the Father is not seeking numbers. He is seeking hearts that beat in rhythm with his own. This is not a call for those who wish to be comfortable. This is a summons for those who are willing to be consumed. The remnant is not made in the comfort of the palace, but in the heat of the furnace. They are not refined in the applause of men, but in the silence of hidden obedience. They are the ones who carry scars as proof that they did not run from the battle. And now, as the days grow darker and the air grows heavier, heaven is preparing to unveil them. The rise of the remnant is not an accident. It is the fulfillment of a pattern woven through the ages. In the days of Noah, the whole earth was filled with corruption, yet one man walked with God and found favor. In the time of Gideon, the fearful were sent home, and only 300 remained to face the impossible. In the days of Elijah, when the land bowed to Baal, there were still 7,000 who had not bent their knee. The pattern is clear. When the many fall away, the remnant stands, and when the remnant stands, history bends to the will of God. This is the hour when the few will determine the future of the many. But understand this: to be part of the remnant is not to wear a badge, it is to bear a cross. The remnant will be set apart, and in that separation there will be loneliness. They will be misunderstood, misrepresented, even hated by those who claim the same God but deny his truth. Yet it is in that wilderness of rejection that the remnant will find the purest intimacy with their King. For the wilderness is where manna falls, where water flows from the rock, where the voice of God is clearer than the noise of men. Those who survive the wilderness will emerge with a fire that no flood can quench. August 12, 2025 will mark a turning of the tide. On that day, the Lord will scan the earth, not for the most gifted, but for the most surrendered. He will not anoint the loudest voice, but the purest heart. This is not about those who have positioned themselves before men, but those who have positioned themselves before his throne. The remnant may be hidden now, but they are not forgotten. They may be underestimated, but they are not unprepared. Their strength is not in their own might, but in the power of the one who called them. And when the moment comes, the hidden will be revealed. The rise of the remnant will not be a gentle elevation, it will be a sudden thrust into the front lines of the spiritual war. Some will step into arenas they never sought, speaking to nations they never dreamed of addressing. Others will be called to dismantle altars of deception within their own cities, families, and communities. The authority they carry will not come from titles or human endorsement, but from the oil of heaven poured in secret. And the enemy will tremble, for he knows that a single anointed warrior can scatter 1,000. But the remnant must be warned. With greater authority comes greater resistance. The enemy will aim his sharpest arrows at those who dare to stand. He will seek to wear them down with delays, to poison them with offense, to lure them with compromise. Yet the remnant will remember that their strength is not in the absence of battle, but in the presence of their God. They will not measure victory by the size of their opposition, but by the faithfulness of their obedience. This rising is also a dividing, for as the remnant ascends, the false will be exposed. Many will have built ministries, movements, and reputations on sand. The tide will come, and the collapse will be swift. But those who have built on the rock will stand unshaken. August 12 will be a day of unveiling. Some will be clothed in glory, others will be stripped bare. And in that unveiling, the remnant will be recognized not by their appearance, but by the mark of the Spirit upon them. The remnant's call is not just to survive the shaking, but to lead through it. When others run in panic, they will walk in peace. When others retreat in fear, they will advance in faith. They will not be intimidated by the darkness because they know the light they carry. And as they move, they will spark fires in others' awakening hearts, reviving faith and igniting courage in those who thought their time was over. The rise of the remnant will not be contained within walls. It will spill into streets, marketplaces, governments, and nations. The Lord says to the remnant, "Do not despise your smallness, for it is the disguise of your strength." The enemy fears you not because of who you are, but because of who is within you. The weapons you carry are not forged by human hands, but are crafted in the armory of heaven. And though you may have felt unseen, every tear, every prayer, every sacrifice has been recorded in the book of remembrance. The time of hiddenness was never a delay, it was preparation. On August 12, the remnant will rise like the dawn. They will not wait for permission, because heaven has already decreed their release. They will move with the boldness of lions, the wisdom of serpents, and the purity of doves. The world will not understand them, but the heavens will celebrate them. And when the dust settles, the earth will know that it was not the strength of the many, but the obedience of the few that turned the tide. Chosen one, you are called to be part of this remnant. Do not look to the left or the right. Fix your eyes on the captain of your salvation. Do not measure your worth by the acceptance of men, but by the approval of heaven. The time is short, the stakes are high, and the trumpet is near. Prepare yourself in the secret place, for when the moment comes, the Lord will call your name. And when he does, may you be found ready, willing, and unshaken. The remnant is rising, and heaven is waiting for you to take your place.